What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
It is Thanksgiving week. It is a big week for the Vol basketball team and obviously for the Tennessee football team. It is Vanderbilt week. And a bigger Vanderbilt week than it has ever been in the history of the series because of where Vanderbilt is at 9-2 and Tennessee at 8-3. The first time that these two schools have ever both entered this game ranked.
Yeah, this is not your typical Thanksgiving week. I mean, this is a very different feel from a football standpoint. It's going to be exciting. I think the atmosphere in the stadium is going to be terrific. I mean, this is a meaningful game for both teams, the most meaningful game for both teams that they've ever played when they played each other. And this is going to be fun. There's a lot of storylines developing that will continue to develop throughout the week. This one's going to be full of intensity on Saturday.
865-567. Is that right? 865-567-1278. That's right. I had to stop and think about it for a moment. That's the text line number to send a question to Brent Hubbs and me, Mike Keith. We'll begin with the Rackley Roofing recap on Big Orange Rewind, a breakdown of Tennessee's 31-11 win over Florida. Presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentations, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Most surprising statistic to me, Brent Hubbs. You want to hear it?
Sure.
17 total possessions. Less than any game this year. The only one that's close is Alabama, which was 19 total possessions. And you go to the Georgia game, not counting overtime, 24 possessions. You go to the Oklahoma game, 24 possessions. The college game features a lot more plays and a lot more possessions than the professional game does. That's one of the biggest differences. The game in Gainesville was almost like an NFL game in terms of the fact that in the second half, each team only had the ball 3 times.
What does that tell you?
Well, it's kind of interesting because where I start with that is everybody will say, well, that's because Tennessee ran the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's true. But Florida only threw 7 passes. So think about this. You're down 31-0 at the half, at home. At home. And you're going to come out in the second half and only throw 7 passes. You have no chance to win throwing 7 passes because you give yourself no opportunity to have the ball enough.
Right.
The math doesn't add up.
Nope.
So why do you only throw 7 passes? I don't think it's because Billy Gonzalez gave up. I think it's because they essentially knew that if they opened up and started throwing every down, that they would get beat a lot worse because they can't do that with their quarterback and with their offensive line and with the receiver injuries and just how Florida's built right now. It gave them no chance. So if you're Tennessee at that point and you know they're not going to throw it a bunch, why are you going to throw it a bunch?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
6 possessions.
Yeah, I said this, and I was that on the sideline last night, and this is where my selfishness comes in. Having been down there and experienced Tennessee losing that game every way possible, there's a part of you that says, hey, 65-0 would look really good here. Mm-hmm. That would really please Mom, right? Mom would be really happy if you went 65-0. And so you're like, stomp on their throats and finish them and everything else. And then you're sitting there and you go, you know what? I remember the game in 2014 where Tennessee was up 9-0 in the fourth quarter. Florida couldn't make a first down. and you gave them life because of the sack fumble, don't take a chance. Don't. The only way Florida had a chance to get back in the ballgame is if you gave them points. Don't give them points.
Well, so I'll ask you this question. Even when it became 31-11 with 8:15 to go, did you ever feel like in your heart of hearts that Florida even had a chance to come back?
No. I didn't think they could score fast enough unless Tennessee did something goofy. And that's where Josh Heupel and his staff in the second half said, you know what? And it wasn't about, hey, we want to get home early. It was about, let's try not to get anybody hurt. Let's don't give them a chance to get back in the ball game. Let's go to the house. And literally the mindset on the sideline when they came out for that final drive at 8 minutes, not exaggerating when I said this, the thought process down there from everybody was defense doesn't go back on the field.
Yeah.
You're going to keep the ball for 8.5 minutes to finish the game.
Well, so you've got the possession at the start of the second half where you get the 2 penalties.
Killed the drive.
Killed the drive. I mean, you could have gone for the big knockout there and may have gotten it, may have gone up 38-0, but you shot yourself in the foot with 2 penalties. So then you get the ball back and you drive 13 plays, 43 yards, over 5 minutes off the clock. And you miss a field goal. Then you get the ball back with 8:15 to go in the game. So you've only had the ball 2 times. You punted, you missed a field goal. And you run the clock out.
Mm-hmm.
You go 13 plays, 57 yards, and run the clock out. But Tennessee attempted more passes in the second half than Florida did.
That's the amazing stat.
It's amazing.
That's the amazing stat because that reeks of Florida just being done. Is what that reeks of.
Well, we talked about it during the game broadcast on Saturday. And it's really interesting because an opposing team, a visiting team in the SEC can dress 74. The home team can dress 80. Florida dressed 70 players. So they had players whose red shirts they were going to protect, who were not going to play because I'm sure the next they've told Billy Gonzalez, we're gonna, and Tank Hawkins is a freshman who decided he didn't want to play anymore because he wanted to protect his red shirt. He's a wide receiver who could have helped him. And then you've probably got some older guys too who are saying, I'm playing for an interim coach. We're 3-7. There's no bowl game. I'm going to be going to the Senior Bowl it happens, right? I mean, that's where they are right now.
Yep.
So they were already men down, but boy, I mean, that's an incredible. I thought we were going to be there until 1:00 in the morning because I thought they're going to come out in the second half and they are going to throw every down because you're down 31-0. It's your only chance.
Right. Well, and I think the credit goes to Tennessee because they just took their will early. And I just think they said, we couldn't, even if we threw it every down, we're not going to get enough possessions. And if we throw it every down, we're not built, we can't do those types of things. So when Tennessee jumped on them early, it just took their will. To me, there were 2 significant plays that were killers for Florida that Tennessee totally capitalized on. The early holding penalty was a big play because Florida's trying to get some momentum after falling down 7-0. Hey, we can right the ship here and settle in. That did not let them settle in. And then the 3-play sequence of the 4th down stop followed up by the 3rd and 17, 52-yard run by Star Thomas, and it was done. It was Katie bar the door.
Well, but the sequence, too, to go even deeper, sacked fumble.
Right. You got to put that play in there.
Sacked fumble, Tennessee gets the ball back.
Yeah.
Which never happens in Gainesville.
It's the difference between 8-3 and 3-8.
Right.
Ball doesn't bounce your way.
Right.
It really doesn't.
But I saw 90 bet get ready to pick that ball up. And you're sitting here going, okay, here we go.
Right.
It's Jay Graham over the top in the 95 game, fumbling, and Florida returning it, instead of going up 30-27 or 37-28, you fall apart at that point, and they end up piling on to go up 62-30 the next thing you know.
Yep.
But instead, Aguilar gets the ball back. Balls are just, hey, you're going to play it smart there. We're going to punt it back to them. So we don't want to take another sack. We don't want to throw a pick here. We'll pin them deep. Old school football, but smart with the lead.
Sure.
But Florida threw 17 passes.
Huh? 7 in the second half.
7.
Yeah.
7 passes.
And Tennessee ran it 51 times.
Right.
Tennessee just everybody just played old school football, and and the result is you played it in 3 hours. And Tennessee didn't do anything. I will say dumb. It's a bad word. Tennessee was not greedy in any way in that game.
No,
and I think that was masterfully played by them. But you looked up and the second half was over.
Well, I thought when the game was over, my first thought. I never know how many possessions somebody. I never know that. I knew there weren't a lot, but only 6 in the second half. There were 2 8-minute plus possessions. Florida had one. Tennessee had one. That's over half the second half on 2 possessions.
Well, and that's the bizarre part, because that's just not what Tennessee Josh, and that's the growth of Josh Heupel as a coach. That's not how they've played, right? You look up and it's like the play clock's at 8. Tennessee hasn't snapped the ball. Traditionally, Tennessee would have run 2 plays during that time. Typically in a game, and obviously this game Saturday is going to play a lot different. But I thought Tennessee, again, I think they missed an opportunity in the second quarter to maybe knock them out, and play all your second team guys in the second half. But in the second half, I thought game management was smart, because the only way you get in trouble is if you give them a freebie. If you give them a touchdown on a scoop and score, or you have a ball batted up, or something crazy happens, that's the only way they have a chance to make that any kind of football game in the second half. If they were going to have to drive it, they were not going to be able to drive it enough and get enough stops to get you back into that game. So I thought well played. I loved the plan Tennessee had. If Florida was going to stay in those split safeties and not come down and not crowd the box and say, hey, we're not going to let you throw it over our head. We'll see if you're willing to run it. Okay. That's it. It was a little bit like NC State a year ago, when NC State was in the look they were in, and Tennessee went 2 tight ends and said, okay, Dave Doeren, you're going to protect the deep ball. We'll just keep running it and running it and running it, and we'll throw it to the tight end some. And that's exactly what they did last night.
That's the Rackley Roofing recap. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. You ready to get to questions?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. 865-657-1278. That's how you text us a question. William in Austin, Texas. A lot of freshmen have seen action this season. Who are you most excited to see against Vanderbilt?
I want to see where Ty Redmond is against a greater challenge, Mike, out on the perimeter. Vanderbilt's got some guys that can get vertical. I don't know that Tennessee's played a lot of vertical passing game the last 3 or 4 games. I don't want to take anything away from the growth of Tennessee's defense, because I think they have grown. But I think they've also been aided a little bit in that growth because they haven't played offenses that are scary or threaten you the entire width and the entire length of the field. That's not what Florida does. That's not what Oklahoma does. Kentucky's not there. They got a little more controlled passing game. This is a different game because Vanderbilt will big play you. And so I want to see how Ty Redmond's growth and ascension at that position continues. I thought he did a nice job in some deep ball coverage last night. The one on the Tennessee sideline, I don't even know what quarter it was. It might have been in the second quarter. He really did a nice job body positioning, just riding the guy out of bounds. He took the green grass away so Lagway didn't have a place to lay that ball in there because of the way he was riding the receiver out of bounds without interfering. Pretty crafty play.
He won the red line.
He won. Okay.
As they like to say, the red line is either the receiver or the defensive back wins that imaginary red line about 10 yards from the sideline. He won it.
Yeah, he did. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. He's going to have to show up and play as a freshman who's going to have to play big. I think the other one, too, in this game, I love what Ethan Davis did, but I think you're going to need some Jack Van Dorselaer at tight end this week. I think he's played a lot. I think he's going to be really physical in this game as well. Those are a couple of guys just right off the top of my head.
This is Jeremiah in Smyrna with only one game remaining. Which defensive player has grown the most since the start of the season?
Redmond would fall into that category. I really like where Spillman's playing
That's
at right
what I
now.
was going to say.
I mean,
Spillman.
I really like the way that Edwin Spillman is playing. I tell you what, watching that game live, I felt this way, and in rewatching the game today, it reinforced it. Tennessee's linebackers, not only did they physically play fast, mentally they played really fast Saturday night. And what I mean by that is there were a couple of places where, man, Arian Carter closed the gap, not just because he was fast, Mike, but he closed it because instinctively play recognition was immediate. Foot in the ground, go make a play. He had a tackle out on a perimeter screen where it was almost like he had the signal, like he knew it was coming. I mean, it was just an immediate read and go.
That was on Ventrell Brown,
Yeah,
too.
it was a really good play, really fast reaction time. I think Spillman's reaction time is getting much better, too, limiting some of the mistakes he was making early in the year, maybe false move here, false step, and that's allowing him to make more plays.
More of your text questions on Big Orange Rewind at 865-657-1278. Hit us up. We want to talk about what you want to talk about tonight on Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Coach Josh Heupel on decision making.
With our offensive play calling, we have to make decisions quickly. But there's one decision I don't have to make, my bank. Instead of choosing between big bank solutions and small bank spirit, I get the best of both with First Horizon.
Big bank muscle, small bank hustle.
For every play in life, there's a bank that has your back. That's First Horizon. Proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years.
The fans are out today, Gabe.
That's right, Mike. Big games mean bigger tailgates.
Check out that Ford F-150 truck, a championship caliber performance.
Flawless execution, Mike. Smart, powerful, and with available Pro Power on board, F-150 just took this tailgate over the top.
Work or play, it's always game on with a Ford F-150 truck. For the latest offers, see your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of Tennessee Athletics.
See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Fall fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building future.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Right back to the text line we go at 865-657-1278. Downtown Donna in Knoxville wants to know from Brett Hubbs, Can we beat Vanderbilt? And what bowl if we do?
Absolutely, you can beat Vanderbilt. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Going to have to play well, but you know what? Vanderbilt's got to come play well to win too. I think that's what that's what this game's about. You look at the stats, and we'll dive into it throughout the show. But they're pretty evenly matched teams in a lot of categories. So yeah, you can beat Vanderbilt if you win that game. And some other teams kind of do what they're supposed to do. Alabama's a playoff team. Then I think that Tennessee's probably looking more like Tampa in the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is on December the 31st. Maybe could slip up into the Citrus depending on how some things played out. Where's Texas and what's going on there? But it feels like Tampa to me right now.
Okay, so the ReliaQuest Bowl is the old Hall of Fame Bowl?
Then it became the Outback Bowl,
Right.
and then it went to the VRBO Bowl, and now it's at the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Okay.
But yes, it's that same bowl game. It's played. It's played in the Buck Stadium. They're at the Pirate Ship, and Tennessee last played in that game against. They beat Northwestern. Is that who or Iowa? When Butch Jones was the head coach.
All right. So the SEC Bowl tie-ins. This is who they're tied in with. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa on Friday, December 19th. Now, that's a down-the-line one, right?
It is.
Okay. Then on Saturday, December 27th, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. That's a 7:30 Eastern game. Also that same day, Saturday, December 27th, Kinder's Texas Bowl in Houston. That's a 9:15. Monday, December the 29th, the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl at 2 p.m. Tuesday, December 30th, the Music City Bowl in Nashville, which is a 5:30 game. Wednesday, December 31st, the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. That's a noon kickoff. That's the one Hubbard just referred to. And also that day, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Again, both of those, Tampa and Orlando, New Year's Eve day. And then Friday, January 2nd, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in Memphis. That's a 4:30 kick. And the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. That's an 8 o'clock kick.
Yes. I think right now, Tennessee's likely going to be in Florida, in the state of Florida, either in Tampa in the ReliaQuest Bowl or maybe in the Tax Slayer Bowl on the 27th in Jacksonville. That would be my early on. Don't make your travel arrangements based on that, but that would be my early on odds right now on what it would look like. Win and you're in Tampa, lose, I think Jacksonville would make more sense.
Music City?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. I mean, pecking order gets all,
right.
And everything gets going. I mean, I'm not saying anything's a given.
Yeah.
So, again, that's total speculation on my part.
And again, just in reading those, I'm reading them by date. I'm not reading them by picking order. I'm just reading them by date.
Well, and if you can figure out the pecking order, good luck with that deal, because there's all kinds of stuff that with the pecking order. Teams get to put a preference of where they would like to go in there and different things. And so, matchups are more important than they've probably ever been for bowl games at this point when you're kind of in this playoff or bust mentality that a lot of people have.
Next question comes from Carrick in Atlanta. What do you think Tim Banks' strategy will be this week against Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia? Lots of blitzing, perhaps.
I think the most interesting thing to come out of Tennessee's win Saturday night at Florida was the use of the three linebacker sets.
They ran a 4-3.
They ran a 4-3, which, by the way, they ran that in football for decades, even when people were throwing it a whole lot. It's now become a foreign concept, but for years, even when Spurrier was out there throwing it around and all these teams were fun again, they were still in a 4-3, so it still works. And it worked really well for Tennessee in this matchup. 23 total tackles between Spillman, Arion Carter, and Jeremiah Thielander. 2.5 tackles for loss. I think it fits Thielander's game really well because he's in the box playing a little more run.
He had to play his best game.
He did, but I think, don't you think schematically it helps him because it's got him downhill? He's an old school in the box linebacker by nature anyway.
I think he is, yeah.
And so I think it fits him there. I think the question with Tim Banks is how much do you use that in this game? Did you use that because you didn't worry about Florida's passing game and so you could play it that way? Or did you use that because you thought it helped you contain quarterback run and some of the things that Lagway could do with his legs and their run game? I think you'll see some of it Saturday. How it goes may depend on how much you see that formation. They'll still play some of the nickel stuff as well. I think you got to be pretty multiple in this deal.
Well, do you lean on it too if you're Tim Banks? Because without Boo Carter, you don't have depth at the nickel.
Well, Josh Heupel said in the postgame in my interview with him when I asked him about that, and he said, look, the reality is we're thin at a particular position right now, which he was talking about the star position without Boo Carter. I think there's probably more of a comfort level in trying to get your best 11 on the field, that if you need to rotate at the star position, you feel more comfortable probably with 3 linebackers as opposed to whoever your backup star is.
But here's the problem with that. Not to directly contradict
No,
you,
that's the discussion point.
I'm going to directly contradict you.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time, but that's
right.
okay.
They've got the best tight end.
Mhm.
Vanderbilt has the best tight end Tennessee will have seen this year in Eli Stowers. He's got 57 catches for over 700 yards. He played with Pavia at New Mexico State. They're,
Yes.
They're
Malone and Stockton.
right.
I mean,
100%. So he's really good. He had 6 catches against Kentucky for 36 yards. Stowers, in the 2 games before that, 7 for 146 and 2 touchdowns at Texas, 12 for 122 against Auburn. But then you have Junior Sherrill, who's their best wide receiver, 43 catches, 585, 7 touchdowns. He's coming off of an 8 for 115 and a touchdown against Kentucky. And then you've got Trey Richardson, who is averaging 18 yards a catch, and he's got 34 catches for 604 yards. He's coming off a 6 for 159 and 3 touchdowns.
yes. Now, remember this about Kentucky.
Oh, well, I saw Kentucky play in person just like you, Jim. None of this surprises me.
Well, Kentucky's decision is really interesting because Florida made a decision Saturday night. We'll take death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right.
Kentucky is just gaseous.
Right.
We'll take our chance. We're hoping you to overthrow enough of
Right.
them, and
Yeah, they made a calculated.
Right.
They took a calculated risk. They did the same thing at Vanderbilt on Saturday, and
it didn't work.
it really didn't work.
It did not work.
Pavia threw for 484.
Yes, and so
But Richardson 159, and then Richie Hoskins, another good young receiver, a 32-yard touchdown catch. So I mean, Pavia threw 5 touchdowns. But they've got a bunch of guys who can do stuff. Florida didn't, largely because of injury.
Mhm.
I think they had some guys on their roster who could, but Vanderbilt has Stowers, the tight end, Sherrill, Richardson, and Hoskins. And so maybe you have to be in nickel more.
well, I think that's the cat and mouse game that you're going to play a little bit. Can you steal some snaps here and there in some of that 3 linebacker look? Can you do some different things like that? I don't know. I think that'll be the challenge for Tim Banks, and that's the challenge in this game. I was talking about it earlier with the question we had regarding Ty Redmond. This is a test. This is a very different test than what the last few weeks have been, and I want to give credit where credit's due to Tennessee's defense. I think they've improved in areas.
They have.
I think some individuals have gotten better. I think they've cleaned up communication errors. I think they've done some things well. I think Hobbs is playing well. Redmond's gotten better. Arion Carter back healthy certainly showed up Saturday night. But this one's going to be different because this Vanderbilt team will challenge you sideline to sideline, and they will challenge you through the back of the end zone. They will challenge you 100 yards down the field. That is what's unique about this Vanderbilt offense compared to where they were a year ago and what they've kind of morphed into.
Well, and this is through 11 games, so these are real stats now. This is not 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is who you are.
At Vanderbilt averaging 458 yards per game, 174 on the ground, 284 through the air. They lead the SEC in third down conversion rate at 52%. And here's the other thing. They are fantastic scoring touchdowns in the red zone, 40 touchdowns in 52 red zone trips. And they've only turned the ball over 10 times. They are versatile and efficient. And you have to give them credit. I mean, you got to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to make some things happen against them because they have talent. They execute very well, and they're just not going to make a lot of mistakes. You have to make them make mistakes.
And I think the challenge is you've got to win some early downs to get them into third and obvious situations because they are very comfortable at 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 because of the tight end, because the big play threat and the quarterback can run. And I think that's why they've been so efficient on 3rd down because there are multiple ways that they can get a conversion if they are not way behind the sticks. And so you're going to have to get to the quarterback. You're going to have to make them in 3rd and long situations to where you can try to heat him up. And it can't just be he squirts out for 7 or 8 yards and moves the 6 that way.
More of your questions at 865-657-1278. Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's. 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas.
The Vol Walk is a legendary journey from Circle Park to Gate 21 at Neyland Stadium. This is Coach Josh Heupel. Speaking of legendary journeys, Pilot's been out here fueling game day road trips and tailgates for over 60 years. That's why they've partnered with the Vols to preserve Neyland Stadium, ensuring that traditions like the Vol Walk endure for generations to come. Next time you head out to cheer on the Vols, make your game day journey legendary with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at FCMA.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, continues.
Tennessee and Vanderbilt this Saturday at Neyland Stadium. 3:30 is the kickoff time on ESPN and also on the Ball Radio Network. Big Orange Countdown. Brent Hubbs, Ramon Foster, Jason Swain on the air at 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, before the regular season finale, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. A game that still means a lot to the old-timers.
Oh, no question. No question
well,
it does.
And if you are a person who came up and have ties to the Neyland era or anything related to Neyland, if your mother or father were in school at the time, if your granddad was around or whatever, you understand the story is that General Neyland came to the University of Tennessee as an assistant coach in 1925 to M.B. Banks. Banks got sick, and Neyland was the interim coach. Tennessee beat Georgia 12-7. It's called the biggest upset in the South that year. And Banks mysteriously decided that he would go become the head coach at Knoxville Central, which paid better than Tennessee at the time. There were two high schools in Knoxville. If you don't know the story, there was Knoxville High School and there was Central. And then there were some in the county as well, but that was it. And the Central Knox High rivalry was massive. As a matter of fact, Knox High was national champion one year in high school. I mean, it was a big deal. So Banks leaves. Nathan Dougherty, Dean Dougherty, promotes General Neyland to become the head coach in 1926, and he had one thing he was told to do, even the score with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, including a win over Neyland in 1926, won 18 of the first 22 games in this series. And so there's always been something more meaningful if you don't have a tie to the area or a tie to someone in the area, or if you're not a Middle Tennessean, you don't completely understand the significance from the Tennessee perspective. But Vanderbilt was very good in the days before the Southeastern Conference was founded in 1933. I'm sure the point will be made this week in certain places that Vanderbilt has never played a bigger game as they get a chance to go for 10 wins and potentially a shot in the college football playoff.
Yep. There will be lots of history lessons said. There will be some off-season quotes that will circulate.
Yeah, we've had a couple of questions about that. Let's just talk about it for a second. So Diego Pavia went on Bussin' with the Boys. Was that right?
I think that's the one he was on.
Okay. And he said, and I'm just going to paraphrase, something to the effect of we'll run Tennessee, or we're going to – he predicted a victory.
Yeah, predicted a victory. They would own the state, whatever,
right.
that type deal.
Yeah, I mean, do the Tennessee players care about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think all those little things matter. I mean,
but Pavia said stuff about everything.
I know. Well, I mean, it's not just Pavia. Former defensive back Jordan Matthews, who's now at Vanderbilt.
He's on the staff as an analyst?
No, he's a player there. He transferred out.
Right,
the defensive back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
and so
I was thinking about an older man.
Yeah, and so he said some things that these are all his former teammates here that will resonate. You had the Netflix special that they did on the SEC. Clark Lee made a couple of comments that some people will go in some different directions with, I'm sure. So there'll be plenty of quote chatter leading up to the game. Does it impact the game?
No.
I don't think so. But will it be a discussion point?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What does the defense need to do to seal the edges and keep everything inside? That's from Hadley and Humble.
Well, you got to do that. You got to play upfield, but you got to set the edge. You got to square your shoulders to it. You can't give up a soft corner and let them run. You got to force things back in the middle, then you got to fill in those gaps. The thing about Pavia as a runner is he's not just a guy who's going to bounce something crazy outside. I mean, he'll go between the tackles. So your rush lanes are going to be really critical in this game. And do you spy? How often do you spy? But if you get too far upfield setting the edge and you give a big gaping hole there, then he can run through there. I mean, this is a challenge. Now, it's not impossible by any means, but it is a challenge where you've got to play your responsibilities the right way off the edge. You cannot freelance, and you have to communicate. You have to be tied in. Everybody's got to know their responsibilities.
He is like a smaller version of John Mateer in that he is a very good runner.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys are fast, and you think, oh, well, that makes him a good runner. And some guys have moves, and you think that makes him a good runner. When I was watching Mateer on Saturday against Missouri, I was just thinking he's instinctive.
Crafty.
Right. He knows how to make a guy miss, where you drop the shoulder, where you make a cut, where you do this. Pavi's the same way.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Same type play.
Yeah, it's got a backyard feel to it.
Right.
But it's not backyard ball. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. But there is an element of allowing him to freelance within the system that they have, and he's very gifted at it.
Now that Tennessee has won in the Swamp for the first time since 2003, what does that win mean for this particular Tennessee team? I don't think we ever got a name and location, but that's the question.
Well, I mean, I think it's if you're a senior on this team and you're a 4-year player, you've won 3 out of 4 against Florida. That's pretty strong. That hasn't happened a lot in this series since they went to divisional play. Probably only happened one other time, and that would have been in somewhere in that 04, 03, 04 in there, 01. That there was 3 out of 4 years you won there.
The only year they lost was 2002,
right?
Which was another game. Wasn't that the famous drop in the end zone game where Travis Henry had all the runs?
That was 2000. That was
That's
Gaffney. Right. That was Gaffney catch, no catch was
right.
In 2000. The 02 game up here was the Scott Wells, Casey Clausen in the rain, like 6 fumbled snaps.
30-13.
Yeah, something like that. It was. I mean,
Tennessee played poorly.
Tennessee couldn't get the ball. They couldn't snap the football. I mean, they just shot themselves in the foot. But my point to the question, it's significant regardless of where Florida is right now. It's significant that you went down there and you won the game because you had lost that game down there in every means possible.
Right.
You had played poorly. You went down there and you did not play poorly. You dominated them in the first half. They basically waved a white flag on you, and you took over their place. That's a memory that will last for all those kids and for people in this program for a long, long time because that's another door that you've kind of kicked down, and there are more to get done. You don't rest on that, but it's certainly going to be a nice memory and a nice moment. And I don't care how good they are. You're not going to take that one back and go, no.
It'll look even bigger when they go 9-3 next year under the new coach.
Yeah, which they may very well do.
They have the talent to turn it around fast.
Well, I mean that was a team that had a fourth quarter lead against a playoff team a week ago on the road.
Right.
And if they don't throw an interception, they might win that game in Oxford. They had the same thing against Georgia in a neutral site game in their rival game. I mean, they've been in a bunch of games. They were not in that one Saturday night.
Brett from Ringgold, Georgia. It was a great sight to see Deshaun Bishop go over the top for a touchdown like so many other great backs through the years. My favorite to watch was Doug Furness. Although they all look great when they score, who is your pick for the best ball to go over the top?
Well, there's that famous picture that Patrick Murphy Racy took, who's a longtime Sports Illustrated photographer, lives in Knoxville. Really good guy, great photographer. And I want to say maybe that was Tony Thompson, or who was the back
in the Sugar Bowl?
Who was the back in 90 that stepped in with the injuries?
That's Tony Thompson.
Okay, Tony Thompson. There's a black and white photo that is shot down the line at the end zone. It's called Come Fly With Me. Mm-hmm. And he is total Superman. Total Superman. He was a great leaper. I mean, he was terrific at it. Surprisingly good at it was little man Stewart.
That's who I was
for a guy
say.
Who was as big as he was.
As tall as he was.
Yeah. He was very good at it. That one was that was some elevation Saturday night by Deshaun Bishop. I mean, he got a full tuck in that deal on that one. He was very much in the air. That was not a ride the back of my offensive lineman in my little leap. That was a full-blown, I'm clearing everybody to get in the end zone.
Blake from Henry County has a question for you, Brent Hubbs, a.k.a. Legend.
Did you add that in there?
No,
Very nice.
It says it right here.
Okay, sure. No, I'm good. Go ahead.
It says Brent Hubbs, a.k.a. Legend. You'll be in short sleeves Saturday night, right?
No, I will not be in short sleeves. I will be in short sleeves with about 7 layers over top of the short sleeves. This is Saturday.
47 at kickoff?
Yeah, supposedly. And cloudy, which means inside the stadium it'll feel like about 38. So everybody bring their hand warmers. Everybody bring their heated apparel. I will glow at some point on the sideline because all of my battery packs will be in full tilt.
I really admire you for admitting this.
Oh, I'm total admission. I have no use for cold weather, none whatsoever. But we'll be ready to go. It should be. The good news is that this game is going to be really good, I think, and nobody's going to think about being cold because this was going to be fun to watch.
Well, do you think anybody has to worry about Tennessee not having anything to play for anymore?
No.
Because you beat Florida.
Sure.
And now because this is on the line this way with Vanderbilt coming into your place, Tennessee fans know they're defending their place. Tennessee players know they're defending their place. It doesn't feel like there's nothing on the line.
Well, exactly. And I think that this is something that Josh Heupel really likes about his football team. And I think you guys expressed this early in the broadcast on Saturday night. He didn't have to sell his team on anything this past week to play.
Nope.
With all the they're out of the playoffs and this and that, and Florida's not good. And he did not have to give his football team a sales pitch to go get ready to play.
But he did choose to talk to them about the streak, which some coaches wouldn't have done. Some coaches would have done the whole, well, we're not going to, that's not real. It's like, no, it's real. We have one down there, and it's a big deal to people. He addressed the elephant in the room, and I think it helped him get their attention. I think there was real credibility in what he chose to do.
Well, and I wonder if he did that too because that was a way to get the team's attention and not the 3-7 record.
Absolutely.
That you look at it. Had the record been different, would you have handled that and talked about the streak in different fashion?
I don't know, but because he did, he made it about Tennessee.
Absolutely.
He said, this is about us going down there and doing something for us. Doesn't have anything to do with Florida. It has to do with us going and winning in a place we haven't won.
Well, and this team, and Coach Heupel said it postgame, he talked about one of the things he loves about this team is they just like to play ball. There's just ball players on this team. And I had the good fortune of being down there postgame and just kind of stand back and watch it. And you could tell what it meant to a lot of those kids to win that game. I mean, they got it. Arion Carter got it. There are a bunch of other guys who got the significance. It wasn't a sales job. They, in their heart of hearts, got the significance of winning that game. I think they will have that same mindset all week long this week. They will understand the significance of this game because there is plenty to play for both teams.
Need a break, and we're back with more. Calhoun's brings you Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network. Hey, Vol fans, did you know anyone can shop Co-op? We're not exclusively for farmers. We're here to supply everyone with essential supplies for farm, home, and animal. With more than 80 years of being the go-to rural lifestyle source in Big Orange Country, our family of co-ops is driven to serve you and your chore list. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical Center. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical Center, official healthcare provider of the Vols, and all of Vol Nation.
The torchbearer flame, it's more than a symbol. It's the light of the volunteer spirit, guiding, enduring, eternal. And just like that flame, natural gas never fades. It's dependable, powerful, always fueling Tennessee, from our homes to our industries. 2 flames, 1 Tennessee. Natural gas, keeping the volunteer spirit burning bright.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Presented by Calhoun's. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Time for a couple of notes. The fourth-seeded Tennessee volleyball team took a 4-set win over 5-seed Florida. Had a tough week for Florida playing Tennessee. Lady Vol volleyball now 20-6 overall, advances to the semifinals of the SEC tournament against number 1 seed Kentucky. And the Lady Vols get a record-setting performance. Nia Robertson knocked down a school record 10 3-pointers, 32 points total. Lady Vols passed Coppin State 88-35 at the Food City Center. It's the 1,500 all-time win for the Lady Vol program. That is the most in NCAA history. I mean, to hit 10 threes, I mean, you think about that. I mean, that's hard to do in a church league game. That's I mean, rec league.
That's hard to do going around the world.
Right. I mean, but I mean, you think about it.
Hmm?
I mean, to shoot 10, to make 10 threes, that's incredibly impressive. And so, the other thing too is to set any Lady Vol record now at this point. How impressive is that with the program being what it has been? 10 of 16 from 3.
Yeah, that's a crazy number.
But only 3 rebounds.
No. I think the biggest takeaway, we'll talk about it later, the biggest takeaway from them is how they've shared the basketball the last week on the floor offensively for Kim Caldwell.
Well, they've had time to practice.
Mm-hmm. And they get it this week too.
After playing so many games back to back to back to back, Kim Caldwell's team getting a chance to work on Tennessee. Congratulations to Nia Robertson. 10 threes.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Hubbs. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guests, insider analysis. You know what happened, find out why and how, and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
Mike Keith and Brett Hubbs, as we start to get you ready for Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Coming up on Saturday at Neyland Stadium, 3:30 is kickoff time. That's Eastern time. 1 o'clock airtime on the Vol Radio Network for Big Orange Countdown with Brent Hubbs, Ramon Foster, and Jason Swain, the brain trust of the Vol Network, as we like to say. Tennessee coming off a significant win over Florida, 31-11. A lot of reasons to be excited about that. One more for you, Brent.
Okay.
The Vol defense stopped the Gators on a 4th down last night.
Yes, sir.
It was very impressive.
It was a great stop.
And that means this week you get a free medium sub with the purchase of any medium sub. And that is always a Sunday through Tuesday thing this coming week at participating Tennessee Firehouse Subs restaurants. Order online or in the Firehouse Subs app, and check out their all-new French dip sub.
Ooh, I love a good French dip, particularly this time of year.
They brought some to the studio the other day.
Is that right?
Yes. Our students absconded with each and every one.
I would imagine
Free
so.
food.
Yeah. Free food and good food, by the way.
Very good food.
Yeah. Hook and ladder.
I think they've still got the Thanksgiving sub, too.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding. Great week to take advantage of that, thanks to the Vols and a 4th down stop.
And a big 4th down stop on the Gators. You know what was interesting about that 4th down stop? I mean, that official came in and just right away said he did not get close. I'm sure they looked at it, but they didn't stop the game to look at it. From our vantage point, we thought it was going to be a lot closer than what it was, but the official was emphatic.
I'm going to tell you that crew that crew, now that game was a little bit different to officiate. I understand all those things. That crew had full control of that game. They let them play, but they had control of the game. And that official, which worked the Tennessee sideline that you're talking about, he was emphatic on that play and on Star Thomas's play. He was absolutely, I mean, I won't say he was mad they went to replay, but it was kind of like, y'all wasting your time going to replay. I got this one right. He had possession of the ball. Knee was down. He's at the 1 yard line. Ball goes right here. Let's go play.
Yeah.
He had he really did a great job spotting the ball.
And so that's Daniel Gautreau's crew. And his dad, Greg Gautreau, is a longtime NFL official and was always regarded as one of the best guys, just a really consistent official. They had a good game, Alabama against Oklahoma, and I thought they had a good game. I mean, I didn't see anything that I thought was egregious.
I think the only issue Josh Heupel had with an official in that game was he felt like Sam Pendleton had his helmet ripped off or pulled off, and that it was not, he should not have had to come out of the game for the one play because he didn't think it was an equipment issue. He thought the helmet was taken off of him. And that's the only time I can remember Josh Heupel having any kind of real heated discussion. But that crew would come over, Mike, after special teams play, and they would get to a coach and go, hey, tell him to clean that up. If that happens again, it's going to be a penalty. There was a lot of communication to keep control of the football game without it being a grandiose, look at me, let's stop the action, and all that type of thing.
So between the two teams, here's interesting. They called 7 penalties in Oklahoma, Alabama for a grand total of 62 yards. The game in Gainesville, they called 7 penalties for a grand total of 55 yards.
And one of those was a choice when Josh Heupel took the delay of game on purpose.
Tennessee's only penalty in the first half was on purpose.
Yeah. No, I thought that guy, and again, the guy on the near side or the Tennessee sideline he was in complete control. I liked the way that crew worked that game. They were very efficient and in control without it being about them.
Your questions via the text line, send them now at 865-657-1278. Before we go to those, let's remind you, Tennessee basketball tomorrow.
Gets a little real.
In Las Vegas, John Wilkerson and Steve Hamer have the call, Vols and Rutgers, and that starts at 1 Eastern. 12:30 is the pregame. So that's 1 Eastern for the tip. 12:30 is when pregame starts with Inside Tennessee Basketball, John Wilkerson, Steve Hamer, and Larry Stone on many of these Vol Network stations.
Been an interesting week for this basketball team.
Then they play at 6 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday night against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will have one more game based on what happens in the first 2 games. And that game will be either Wednesday or Thursday.
Don't you like the way this schedule has set up for Rick Barnes' team?
I think it's perfect.
I mean, just to get the early games against some teams you're better than, but to try to figure out some things. Now you're at a point where you probably need a test to figure out kind of who you are, where you're at, and then build from there.
Well, and Rutgers is going to be fired up because they just lost to Central Connecticut in a big upset. So if you don't think they're going to come out with their hair on fire against the Vols, wow. And Houston is just Houston.
Right. You know what they're going to do.
And you know the third opponent is going to be somebody quality. Well, then you come home, and next week you go to Syracuse for a Tuesday game, and then come back home. And then on Saturday you're in Nashville to take on Illinois. Then you have the 10-day break for exams. Louisville comes in on the 16th. So, I mean, that's quite a run of games.
Yeah. And every college coach in the country, and particularly the ones the two at Tennessee, love the fact that you're getting ready to be at the end of this semester. Because with the spring semester now at Tennessee starting as late as it does, it gives them about 6 full weeks of just ball.
Because they do a legitimate winter term.
Mini term.
A mini term. I don't think they call it that. Is it a winterum? Or
I don't know what they call it.
We used to call it mini term.
Right. But it's a 3-week window for class.
Yeah, and they don't. So classes don't start back until the Tuesday after the Martin Luther King holiday. I think it's the 20th.
So you basically go from about the 12th or 15th of December, something like that, until the 20th or so of January, where it's just basketball.
It's just basketball.
It is just, and
they break a couple days for Christmas, but that's it.
But I can tell you, both these coaches on this campus absolutely love the fact that it's just ball.
All right, let's see what Preston loves here. He says the Vols played 3 safeties and 3 linebackers at times last night. Do you think the defense was more effective in those looks?
3 safeties?
I didn't see 3 safeties. Now, I did see them line up the star or the nickel backed up.
Okay. So for more of a 3 safety look.
It had a 3 safety look,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think for what Florida was doing, for what you were trying to get done, I think there were some nice wrinkles that Tim Banks used in the game Saturday night. Can you do all those things this week? I don't know. It's a different opponent. Vanderbilt does different things. They're much more explosive. We'll see. But I do think it's how do you match up and how do you get your best personnel on the field? And there are times when you're in some of those rotation, your best 11 includes 3 linebackers, depending on what rotation you're in. And so that's why I think you'll see them in that a little bit. If it works, they'll stay in it more. If it doesn't, they may have to get out of it, depending on how Vanderbilt tries to attack it this week.
Steve, in Cookeville, the push that our offensive line got on Saturday night was very impressive and gratifying to see. Can they get the same result against Vanderbilt?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I tell you what, I think that group communicated as well Saturday night as we've seen them communicate. They did not have they didn't turn a bunch of people loose. I thought they communicated. They worked together. They were pretty cohesive. I thought Jesse Perry looked as comfortable as he's looked at right guard after playing the first month of the season at right tackle. I thought he and David Sanders, while far from perfect, seemed to be much more cohesive, and didn't have some of the things that maybe that bothered them early in the year. I mean, there was some pressure on Aguilar. I think Tennessee did a nice job of rolling him out, get him away from some pressure, because that's a Florida team that had 5 sacks a week ago at Ole Miss. And so they're going to get some pressure. But overall, I thought they did well. And the numbers, Josh Heupel told me this at the half going to the locker room, and we were talking about the run game, and I said, why is that working so well? And he said, well, we're blocking up front pretty well. Running backs are running really well. He goes, and they're giving us grass with their defensive structure. And so the numbers and the box count was very much inviting to run the football. Now, you got to go execute when that's there, and Tennessee executed well Saturday night.
And you got to finish in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. And they did.
Which was something Tennessee had a problem with a year ago when people dropped those safeties so much and dared them to run. And they did run, but once they got inside the 20, they kicked too many field goals.
Well, because once you get inside the 20, the safeties aren't as far back.
Right.
The box loads up because you're out of you got the back line of the end zone to be your defender. And so when they got into that and the box loaded up on them, it was harder for them to run. You're exactly right. Saturday night, they did not have that difficulty. They finished.
All right, David in Winchester wants to know, so why do you think Josh took his foot off the gas knowing that we could give Florida a beatdown after 22 years of disappointing losses? We know Florida would have put 70 on us if the roles were reversed.
He must have been in my head at some point because I was having some of the similar thoughts, to be honest with you. But again, I think when you go back and look at it, if you want a question, to me, you can look at there was a 3rd and 5 in the second quarter where they chose to run it instead of try to throw it when they had just moved into Florida territory up 28-0. They ended up punting there. That's where they took the delay game penalty. Maybe you could have been more aggressive there with the way your quarterback was playing. Aggressively, 23 seconds, ball's 1st and goal at the 11. You got a timeout. 1 shot in the end zone, instead of 2 straight runs and settle for the field goal there. Those 2, I think you can have the question that he's having. In the second half, and I think don't do anything goofy. Just get done, so to speak. And the only way Florida could get back in it is if, you were lucky that you recovered the strip sack in the first quarter. Just don't, or the second, whatever it was. Just don't make the mistake that gives them life. And I think at that point, that's where Tennessee kind of was like, listen, the only way we lose this game or make this a football game is if we do something self-inflicted. So, yeah, we'll be a little conservative. And I don't have any issue with that in the second half.
Justin in Georgia. Last night proved how important Arion Carter play as the leader of the defense is. And when he's out, it really drops off. Will he be the most important player against Diego Pavi?
I think you could put him in that category. Yes, I think he's very important. I think that he felt as good last night as he has felt in a long time. I thought he was moving well. I think it's a very positive sign. He got basically 3 weeks off on the turf toes, and I think that was a big help for him. So he should be okay this week. I'm sure they'll manage him on the practice field, not be silly with him and have him ready to go. But I think he makes guys around him better, and I think he makes the other linebackers better, and I think he helps communicate things. I think he ties it together. I thought he played as well mentally last night as he did physically.
And he did get practice last week.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as if during that period of time that he was trying to play where the turf toe was particularly aggravated. He wasn't getting any practice to speak of. Mental reps, I get it. But for most defensive players, you want to practice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bloody your nose against somebody in practice a little bit. You want to take those angles and see some of that speed and feel a little bit of it. He was able to get some of that last week, which I think had him not only with the health, but from a mental standpoint, had him more ready to play.
Yeah, there was a play in the Oklahoma game where he knew where to go, Mike, and he couldn't get there. He couldn't get there. And it wasn't that he took a bad angle. It's just the angle was eliminated because physically he couldn't get there. I thought last night he could get wherever he wanted to get to in a hurry on the football field for the first time in better than a month, maybe 6 weeks.
The recognition on the quick screen to Ventrell Brown for the 2-yard loss.
Fantastic.
I mean, because that's a freshman who can go. I mean, he's not 100%. He's played with a shoulder injury, and that was part of Florida's problem is they didn't have enough of those guys available. But when you saw him out there, you're like,
because he's the one that scared you.
He terrified you.
Yeah.
And, it was a sure tackle in the open field against a really fast guy. And I think Arion was all gas, no brake there.
Well, absolutely.
He ran right through it.
Yeah, but he also brought his arms. He didn't just try to bump him. He was not in a bad angle, not in bad lever. I mean, everything about that was textbook, and it was textbook because play recognition allowed him to get there. He wasn't reaching. He was in a great position to make a tackle because of the play recognition.
This season, enjoy and celebrate with the great refreshing beverages that support University of Tennessee athletics. Light and crisp, truly hard seltzer. Twisted Tea, real brewed iced tea with a twist of lemon. Modelo, brewed for full-time Vol fans. Coors Light, choose chill. And Vol Lager from Yeehaw Brewing Company. Distributed across the Volunteer State by Cherokee Distributing. Remember, celebrate responsibly. And remember, 21 means 21. Your chance to text us your questions getting ready for Tennessee and Vanderbilt to talk basketball, baseball, whatever sport you have in mind. We'll give it a go. 865-657-1278. Send them our way now. This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
Hey fans, it's Coach Heupel. In football and in life, some folks just show up. That's Tennessee. They don't call us volunteers for nothing. We're about standing together and doing the right thing on and off the field. That's exactly how Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee shows up. They're not just from here, they're for here. built for Tennessee life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
At the University of Tennessee, the Vols are known for competing at the highest level on the field, the court, and the diamond. And just like the Vols, Food City excels at everything too. They've got in-store butchers carving up certified Angus beef, fresh local produce, a full-service bakery, Fuel Bucks rewards, and one of the best beer and wine selections in town. Food City, the official supermarket of the Vols, and your home for everything Tennessee.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange with a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium. The Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Tennessee and Vanderbilt coming up this Saturday. Kickoff 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN from Neyland Stadium. We're on the air with Vol Network coverage at 1 o'clock Eastern with Big Orange Countdown. By the way, SEC Nation presented by T-Mobile will originate from Ayers Hall Saturday. That's Laura Rutledge, Paul Feinbaum, Roman Harper, Jordan Rogers, and Tim Tebow. That's 10 a.m. to noon. Additionally, Marty and McGee, presented by Old Trapper, will be live Saturday morning from 9 to 10. Marty Smith and Tennessee alum Ryan McGee meet at the intersection of Southern lifestyle and college football to bring viewers the latest headlines. Do you think Marty wrote that?
That's
or Ryan wrote that?
I would say Ryan wrote that. Wouldn't you put that on Ryan?
Well, he's a great writer.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't you put that on Ryan? No offense to Marty, but wouldn't you put that on
So
Ryan?
again, big deal, 9 a.m. at Ayers Hall. It'll start off with Marty and McGee. You can come and be there live. And then 10 o'clock, SEC Nation. Again, Laura Rutledge, Paul Feinbaum, Roman Harper, Jordan Rogers, Tim Tebow. By the way, the Paul Feinbaum Show will be at the same place on Friday from 3 to 7. The Paul Feinbaum Show presented by Johnsonville. 3 to 7 Friday from Ayers Hall. Wonder if Paul ever went to Ayers Hall for a class.
I'd say he probably did.
He probably had.
I had a couple there. I didn't make all of them though. I missed more than my fair share.
Math classes there, I know.
I had a math class there in summer school, and I had a political science class in there.
At Ayers Hall?
In Ayers Hall, yeah.
In political science?
I had a political science class.
How
And
unusual.
and here's the beautiful part of that. The professor was a young guy. He was a big fan of Sports Talk. And I had just started working with you at Sports Talk. I did very well in that class. Not because I needed to do well in that class.
Nice.
He was a big fan. We thank him
He
greatly.
was a listener.
He was.
We're glad you're a listener right now. We have no grades to get. I'm not going to talk about how Hubs got out of school.
Well.
Time for an in-depth look at the Vols' next opponent, the Vanderbilt Commodores, with the Built Ford Tough Report brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Tennessee football and the Ford F-150 Tough runs in our family. Commodores are 9-2 overall, 5-2 in the SEC, going for their first 10-win regular season ever. This is big for them, no doubt. Second-ranked offense in the SEC, right behind Tennessee. They're averaging 38.9 points per game. Of course, Diego Pavia leads the league in total offense, averaging 325 yards per game. But here's where Pavia has been lately. This is crazy. Against Texas, Auburn, and Kentucky, his last 3 games, he's completing 77% of his passes for 1,226 yards. That's an average of 409 a game. He's gone 365, 377, 484. He's thrown 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. That came in the Kentucky game. He has rushed 47 times for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns in those 3 games. He has been sacked 10 times in those 3 games. So something to keep in mind. Pavia is the team's leading rusher, 661 yards rushing. Cedric Alexander has 445, MK Young 395. So they do spread it around a little bit. And then, as we know, Brent, they've got receivers. The tight end, Eli Stowers, the leading receiver, 57 catches, 705 yards, 4 touchdowns. Junior Sherrill, 43, 585, 7 scores. Trey Richardson, 34 catches, over 600 yards, 18 yards a carry, 5 scores. Richie Hoskins, 25 for 300, 3 scores. And then Alexander out of the backfield, 16 for 178. Cole Spence, 13 for 202.
Got a lot of weapons. He's got a lot of guys playing well right now.
They average 458 total offense, 174 on the ground, 284 in the air. League best, 52% third down conversions. Outstanding in the red zone, 40 touchdowns in 52 trips inside the opponent's 20. That's awfully good. On defense, the edge rusher, Miles Capers, 4.5 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss. Other players that stand out, Nick Rinaldi, Brian Longwell, C.J. Hurd, Marlon Sewell. We've got good guys on defense. They've done a nice job over there this year. They make it hard on the opposition.
Well, they've built. They got a lot of people back to build around. Obviously, it starts with Pavia, and they built and grown that offense. He's grown as a quarterback, and defensively, they've been better. They're a better, more effective defense than they were a year ago. Now, again, when Tennessee played them a year ago, they were hanging on. They were trying to hang on because they were beat up and they were wore down, and they had that great run to start the season, and they were just kind of hanging on at the end. And one of their mantras this offseason has been about finishing. Again, I think the open date for them came at a perfect time because I think they were starting to have some of those issues a little bit. When you look at the points they had given up defensively, they get an off week, they get to reset, they come back, and they manhandle Kentucky.
Crushed them.
Yeah, manhandled them.
It was 45-3 late in the third, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was 17-0 before you knew what happened. Like, it was like, it was over before it ever got started. So, again, I think the open date came at a really good time for them. I think they're fresher and they're healthier than they have been in years past because they have not had that date as frequently as they've had it this year. And I think it came at a perfect time for them.
Well, and they certainly like to have that before they have a chance to play Tennessee.
Yep.
I mean, that's part of it. All right, let's see. David in Maryville. Will we have a spy on Pavia? And our tackling is still an issue for me. Thanks for listening.
Did not tackle as well last night. Now, I think the ball kid at tailback is a really nice player for Florida. I think he runs low. I think he does not have a big target radius. He does a nice job jump cutting. I mean, he was the only thing, no offense to DJ Lagway, but he was the only thing watching them Saturday night where he went, that guy's a football player. Because he played. Now, Tennessee missed too many tackles. I think they finished with something like 12 or 15 missed tackles. They had been much better the 2 previous games. But, I mean, other than the one play, Mike, where Florida had the penalty that brought it back, where Tennessee had the 2 bad open field missed tackles, I didn't think that the missed tackling was as glaring. There was
not egregious.
Yeah, there was some plays where he's like, okay, they got 3 more yards they shouldn't have gotten there, so you're going to have to tackle better. But it wasn't a ton of like open field missed tackles that turned into a 15 or 20 yard gain. But you're going to have to tackle.
Will there be a showing to the team of a George Cafago talk he would give every year before the Vanderbilt game. Does a video of it exist?
I'm not aware of it. I mean, is there a video?
I mean, I'm sure somebody.
I mean, there's a film of it, so I don't know if it's turned into a video.
I'm sure somebody's got it somewhere.
I mean, maybe Barry Rice could text me and let me know. I'm sure he's got something archived somewhere, right?
There's something. I'm not sure you could show it.
Probably not.
They injured George Cafago.
They being Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt did. The telling of it is, and this is just rough. This is not the whole story, but someone from Vanderbilt, according to Cafago, intentionally injured him, which kept him from really participating to any level of effectiveness in the Rose Bowl. And from that point forward, he was a man that could hold a grudge.
It became very personal.
It became very personal. Coach Cafago, who coached the Kickers, he was an All-American. He was actually Tennessee's first ever #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. And he eventually came back here as a coach and was famous for coaching kickers, was beloved by Coach Majors, was beloved by people around the program. And each week, each year, he was famous for giving the talk about Vanderbilt. And to say it was spicy would be the understatement.
That understatement's probably not a strong enough word, and neither is spicy in either one of those statements.
Very G-rated. But let's put it this way. Coach Cafago didn't hold back.
No, he did not. From all the stories I've heard. And I mean.
Yeah, it was something let's put it this way. Anyone who has any tie back to him in this program can still tell you how you're supposed to feel about Vanderbilt according to what his teaching was.
Well, and here's the thing about that. It wasn't just people that knew him and that were really close to him. It's anybody in that frame that was a manager,
right?
They were a trainer,
anyone
they were a walk-on.
Well, because he was in charge of those people for a lot of years.
Anybody that had any dealings with that at all has a clear understanding on how they are supposed to act in regards to this game on Saturday.
Yes.
And they will act accordingly.
Well, it's just it was a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there was an edge to it.
Oh, there was an edge.
That was a steep cliff.
Well, the story always was, too, is that Coach Majors would stand over off to the side and it would be hard because Coach Cafago coached Coach Majors.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had ultimate respect for Coach Cafago. But even he would, I don't want to say chuckle, he would get that grin on his face that he used to get. Coach Majors had a famous grin that was just 8 miles wide. And he loved to hear, because Coach Majors didn't think of himself as an old-timer. He probably was.
Right.
We thought of him as an old-timer.
Right.
We loved him, but he thought of Coach Cafago as an old-timer because, I mean, this was from a bygone era. And it's the way my grandfather, who was older than Coach Cafago, who played for General Neyland in the late 20s, early 30s, the way he felt about Kentucky. Because Kentucky tied Tennessee, I think, twice while he was there and kept them from going to the Rose Bowl. So my grandfather, oh gosh, did he hate Kentucky? Right. And I mean, it was like, really? I mean, it was way out there.
Right.
I mean, it was like, okay, I think we need to back. I mean, let's just temper this just a little. Well, this was, yeah. So, no, I don't know if there's a video. I wish there was. I would sure watch it.
Yeah, and here's the thing I was always told with Coach Cafago is it wasn't just the week of the Vanderbilt game that he would get going. But if you were just bored and looking for something to do in the offseason,
you'd bring it up.
Just go to his office and have a visit. And the paint was coming off the walls by the end of the visit, regardless of it's like, Coach, that game's 7 months from now. Doesn't matter. It's not about when the game is. It's about them and it's about me.
Yeah.
And my feelings are never going to change, regardless of day or time. Yeah.
I mean, this is a big game this week.
Oh, huge. Huge game.
Coach Caffergo would have a message that you just absolutely wouldn't believe.
He absolutely would.
But he is one of the great figures. Bad News Caffergo, number 72. Wow, something else. We need a break. Even the score with Vanderbilt, right?
That's exactly right.
More of your text questions. Keep them coming. And maybe Coach Caffergo's story. 865-567-1278. That's the text line. Look forward to hearing from you. This is Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
It's football time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
The Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're next, because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Text line question, Brent Hubbs. This is Mike, not me, someone else named Mike. Why did Jaden Perlotti not play much against Florida? Don't remember him on the field, but saw him dressed on the sideline.
I don't know the answer. He did play, but I don't know the answer for why his snap total and snap count was where it was. I think he ended up with 10 snaps is what Pro Football Focus said. Now, sometimes those numbers get tweaked as the week goes along. But he did not play a ton of snaps for whatever reason. And I don't have an answer. He's healthy. It wasn't a health issue or anything like that.
Well, it seemed like for how the game went, and due to the fact that Florida was on the field for less than 25 minutes, that it was Spillman and Carter and T-Lander for the most part. And then when they went 3 backers, it was Spillman and Carter and T-Lander. More, I guess what I'm saying is they just stuck with the same group pretty much.
Well,
Harmon played some.
He did. And I think the other thing, too, is I think the return of Arion Carter changes your rotation and changes your snap counts in there as well. So That would be, that would have been part of it as well. But no, he ended up with 10 snaps is what the count was that I saw on Pro Football Focus. The other three, I should say, ended up with, I want to say something like 30 snaps or something to that effect. I mean, Joshua Josephs played 20. He's been a little bit banged up, but Carter played 33 snaps. Spillman got 26 in the game. T-Lander got 37 in the game.
Well, and part of that is the three of them rotated through at the two spots considerably.
Well, and I think Florida had 49 snaps.
That's it. They had the ball for less than 25 minutes. I mean, Tennessee, who is last in the SEC in time of possession, one time of possession in the game in Gainesville by over 10 minutes.
I mean, there wasn't a ton of snaps to divvy up.
There weren't.
Is the point, because
again, just 17 total possessions in the game.
I mean, you look around. I mean, there were a lot of guys in the teens. I mean, Tyree West. I mean, he had a big night, right? 13 snaps.
Right.
I mean, he made good use. He made good use of his.
Lamar in Chattanooga, with our schedule next year, be a step back, and will we go back into the portal? Okay, so what Lamar's asking two questions here. With Tennessee's schedule next year, will the Vols take a step back, and will we go back in to get help in the portal?
Well, you're always going to go get help in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now the question is, how much help do you think you need? And that changes from year to year. But nobody is standing pat in their portal life. You're going to go get help in the portal. And Tennessee's going to go get some help in the secondary. They need numbers, and they need some experience back there, because what numbers they do have are going to be young. So at the safety position in particular, they're going to go have to get some help, in my opinion, in the portal. I think you always take an experienced defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I think you always bring in a grown man on the defensive line in the portal if you can. So I would imagine Tennessee will go there. Quarterback will be interesting to see what happens in a variety of different ways, including this lawsuit out there that, when you're going to know something on that. How much is Joey Aguilar interested in this lawsuit he's being included with Diego Pavia, looking for an extra year? I don't know where that's at. I don't know when you're going to get any kind of ruling on that. But what your quarterback room looks like, you need 3 scholarship quarterbacks on your roster for depth purposes.
At least.
So you're always going to be looking in some portal places and some things. What you don't want to do is you don't want to sit there and go, man, you need 24 players in the portal.
Right.
That's what you don't want to be doing. But you want to go get best available, and you obviously want to address needs. With the schedule and the step back, look, this league is going to be hard every year. Nobody's schedule is going to be easy, I don't think. I think it's the way that the extra game and the way they're going to rotate it and take out some of the traditional games, only having the 3 rivalry games. I think it's going to be hard. I don't think anybody's getting a free pass in their schedule. So
best
everybody
home
might
schedule I can ever remember.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, everybody might, quote, take a step back based on the schedule, because it's going to be hard.
Well, I mean, I think now that you're going to the 9-game schedule, 10-2 looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And because it's 9 wins plus a Power 4 game.
Right.
Okay.
And Tennessee's is at Georgia Tech at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Right. So that game is, and again, I think for a bigger discussion point, and this is not what he was asking, but I think the SEC brass and administrators and coaches are all watching Tuesday night's playoff reveal show every Tuesday night, and they're looking at this going, where's the strength of schedule?
There's never a strength of schedule.
Right. So the question then becomes, do you continue to put the precursor in there, put the standard in there that you have to play a non-conference Power 4 opponent? And I think that's a discussion point that has to continue that dialogue has to continue if other conferences aren't doing that, and if the playoff committee is not going to put any real weight on strength of schedule.
But they're not.
Well, they have to. I'm saying you have to look at that as a league.
I know, but they've never. That's the most underrated thing, because it's all a beauty contest.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Good win, bad loss. Which one counts more?
Nothing. I mean, it's just what they think that day. When did it happen? Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last year, but they lost early. So they were able to come back from it.
Which beckons the question, too, where are you on playoff expansion?
Right.
And
I think that the 9-game schedule is going to be something that is bad for the SEC as it relates to the playoff until they go to 16 teams. Now, once they go to 16 teams, I don't think it hurts. But the whole thing about, well, we have to have that. I mean, if you want to just say up front, look, you've got to play a Power 4 opponent because we need it for our television package. Okay, just say that.
Right.
Strength of schedule is a bunch of bunk. It has been for years in the NCAA. There are guys that get on there every year. Oh, they're whatever
point of emphasis
rating, and then you end up a 4 seed. You're like, how?
Right.
I mean, if you want to, every year you sit there with whatever team you're following, and you say, I mean, the SEC got 14 teams in the tournament last year.
Mm-hmm.
If they had played all Division III opponents non-conference, having 14 teams that made it in their own conference should have been enough for them to be seated higher, one spot higher than everybody. But it didn't matter. I mean, it got you in. But it's never worked that way. Every year there are teams that get left out whose strength of schedule is higher than teams that get in.
Yeah,
then there's some guy on TV who's representing some committee, and he's like, "Well, we had to."
but
it's like they don't take the tournaments into account. None.
Right.
None percent. Zero. So why not just go ahead and say the only thing you get out of the tournament is just the automatic qualifier?
Right. But I think it's a different when it's 68 teams getting in versus 12 teams. To me, if you're this league, you have to take that much more seriously than you do strength of schedule in a 68-team basketball field where you get 14 teams in your league.
I understand that, but I'm saying it's still the part of it where you consider the strength of schedule portion, where you're saying we need to play one Power 4 non-conference for strength of schedule. That's a moot point.
Right. So say it's for money. It's your point.
So say if you're going to force your teams to do it, say we need it for our TV package. We need it for revenue. But it's not going to.
I think that's a conference discussion point that's going to be interesting to look at the next couple of years, depending on how the playoff expansion goes or doesn't.
Well, I think it's going to be a bigger deal because people are going to want to make sure that they have 8 home games as many chances as possible instead of 7. Because they need as many home games as they can get.
Everybody does.
Sure.
No doubt.
Because, hey, where's that $22 million in the revenue share coming from? They got to find it.
Everybody's got to find it. And it's not just that. It's also the additional scholarship money.
That's the point.
It's beyond $22 million. It's a bigger figure than that.
Well, they're saying a lot of the scholarship money comes out of the $22 million.
Yeah, okay.
And so then they're saying they're going to divvy up 18 to 18 and a half based on that.
And 18 and a half in football is not enough to put a championship roster on the field.
Nope.
It's just not.
It's not. Need a break. We'll solve all the world's problems when we return, just like every week. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, 9 locations around Knoxville, including one in Neyland Stadium.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
From the practice field to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can turn your dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun's.
Tennessee with a win over Florida, 31-11. At certain moments during the game, it was almost surreal to see Tennessee getting breaks in Gainesville, to see them running over the Gators, to see half the crowd not return after halftime. I mean, they're at the end of the game. I mean, we got home early because the buses got to the airport more quickly than they would have normally due to the fact that there was no traffic after the game. It was surreal. Usually they are there to await you and bid you adieu in a most rude way, and they were nowhere to be found.
Midway through the second quarter, I got a text. I can't believe my eyes. And the text was from Jason Swain.
Yeah.
It was just like, what's happening? Like, what is this? I mean, really? This is this?
Yes.
And that's exactly, I mean, it was.
And now for the I can't believe my eyes, here comes 9-2 Vanderbilt.
Exactly right. Welcome to college football.
For the first time, to Vanderbilt's credit, they come in ranked. Tennessee is ranked. It's the first time. This will be the 119th meeting between the two schools. First time both have been ranked. Vanderbilt had a proud football history with Jess Neely and some other things prior to the starting of the Southeastern Conference in 1933. Outside of a few years, it has been pretty rocky for the Commodores, but the last two for Vanderbilt graduate Clark Lee, he's put them in a good place. He's been able to be in place. They've left him alone. He's made great additions to his staff. He's kept good staff members. He's added players. He's had a chance to build a program. Vanderbilt is a good football team. There is no other way to say it. They are a football team that is playing good football, and on paper they are a good football team statistically and otherwise. They are no joke. They are no fluke. They deserve everything they've gotten this year. They've earned it.
Yeah, they have. And they have been sound in every outing. They haven't been perfect, but they've been sound, and they'll come in and they will play well on Saturday. Tennessee's going to have to play well. Crowd's going to be important on Saturday for this game too. And I'm sure you'll hear some of that messaging this week from Josh Heupel, but this is a big opportunity for Tennessee. Obviously, for Vanderbilt, it's an opportunity that nobody,
Of a lifetime.
Yeah, of a lifetime. Nobody saw coming. And I mean, knew they'd be a solid team, good team. Didn't think they were going to take a big step back or anything. But man, they've put themselves in a position that if you would have said a couple of years ago Vanderbilt was going to be a possible college football playoff team, nobody would have believed you.
Well, they're the last SEC team Tennessee has shut out, and that was at the end of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been that long ago.
Nope.
I mean, 3 years ago. And now they're coming in, and I guess Tennessee's a slight favorite, but
home
Yeah.
home field, couple points. By the time you get to game time, it may be a pick 'em. Who knows?
Right.
But it's not going to be a line. It's going to be very much even.
And Vanderbilt has won at Neyland Stadium before. They have. I mean, this is not like they will have never done it. They broke a streak in 2005 by winning at Neyland Stadium. They won in 1975 at Neyland Stadium. I mean, they have done it before, and they're going to try to do it again. Tennessee is going to try to get a victory, finish 9-3, 5-3 in the conference, and go to the very best bowl possible. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a fun week. Brent Hubbs, thanks for a great show.
Thanks, Mike.
Remind you, Tennessee basketball, 1 o'clock on Monday, 12:30 air, Vols and Rutgers from Vegas.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.